When I joined the organisation, they had at that point 4 teams part of the network. So Manchester, New York had launched, Melbourne had rebranded as Melbourne City, and Yokohama was there as where they were a minority investor as part of their Nissan partnership. And so, yeah, absolutely. The way that it operated actually is that technically I was employed by this kind of overarching parent group called City Football Marketing. So we were a resource for the entire group. The reality was 80-90% of the time you're working on Manchester City, both realistically from a kind of geography and location point of view, but also the nature of the business and how important the revenues were to that size. But no, there were absolutely some group-wide aspects, both on a broad spectrum around, again, processes and tools and looking at how we structured partnerships and how we looked at trends and what we kind of deemed as best practice. But no, we would also be brought into specific projects around the teams and spent some time in New York and spent some time in the Far East. In City had a number of different offices around the world, some time in China. And the nature of that business, I think what is really interesting is that you are working on an international, global, but also local point of view, both in the sense that you're working on Manchester City on a global spectrum, but then looking at on a global spectrum, New York maybe locally and Melbourne locally as well, and the kind of differing dynamics around the commercial and the marketing landscape in those different regions. So it was a really fascinating kind of education into the wider kind of global sports marketing space.